cope with those feelings, or the navigating. I love the word navigating, because it's not just a straight line, right? It's like a map. It goes everywhere, our feelings and our emotions and all of that. But when we learn emotional regulation, when you take risks, you have to judge, I'm anxious. Am I going to do it anyway? Maybe I'm going to do it next week. I want to jump out of this tree. They all jumped out of the tree, but they're 2 years older than me. I don't know if I'm ready to jump out of the tree. They may urge you on. They may call you names, and you have to decide, am I ready? I want to do this anyway. Nope, I'm not ready. And they may be fine with that, or somebody bigger may say, hey, leave him alone. He's only 6. Let him jump out of the tree later. And maybe next week you feel ready, and then you do it. And then you get that sense of accomplishment. Like, I did it. I did it. That was hard. I have been waiting for a month to figure out how to jump out of that tree, and now I did it. When we don't really give kids the sense of doing that, right? Because we're protecting them all the time. And there's always an adult watching. And when your adult is watching, the adult is the one that's telling them, be careful, don't do that. And if another child is there teasing them or urging them, and that's part of kind of navigating that social structure, right? An adult can swoop in and say, hey, don't do that. Don't be like that with say you're sorry. And they navigate the social structure for them. And you never get a chance to really figure out how to be in the world with other people who sometimes aren't always nice.
I love listening to you talk about we don't come in with the self-esteem. Again, just giving me another aha with that. Like, parents have to realize that they're going to create an environment to build that or not.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is that we think keeping them safe is going to do that, but it really does the opposite. It disempowers the kid.
Yes.
And so it's not like we want our kids to go be hurt and knocked around and all that stuff, except for, and maybe that's, we want to protect them from all those bad feelings or from an accident or something, terrible. But what we don't realize is that overprotection thing does nothing for them in that self-esteem department. So I'm interested in the difference between the self-esteem and self-worth. And you were saying we come in maybe with the worth because nobody has done anything to take it away yet.
Right.
So we get taught that, right? So maybe you could talk about the difference of those two one more time.
Yeah. So what I came to understand is self-worth is a reflection of who we are. It's our beingness. We are, and so we are worthy. We are here on this planet, so we are worthy. We are worthy of care. We are worthy of love. We are worthy of existing. Self-esteem is more about what we can do, what we're capable of. And so I think people get that mixed up, and it's really easy to get that mixed up. People interchange them all the time. But self-esteem is about having confidence in your ability. And so they may play off each other, right? You can have no self-worth. If you're in a family who doesn't take care of you and who criticizes you all the time, you may grow up with a very shaky sense of self-worth. You learn maybe you're not worthy. Maybe you're not worthy of love. Maybe you're not worthy of care. And that's going to affect your self-esteem also, because maybe you can't do anything. But the opposite could be true. In some families, if you're told you're not worthy, you may compensate and have to do things for yourself. You may have confidence in everything that you can do and still have a really crappy sense of self-worth. You see what I'm saying? You can overcompensate in your self-esteem.
Yes, I do. And I think, so you're making me want to tie in then the issue with perfectionism, because I think you're talking about me in particular right now in this exact scenario. Like, I think I just tried to overcompensate in that self-esteem department for the other one. Anyway, I love how we're discussing them all integrated and tied together. They are. It's complicated sometimes.
Right. And for me, it was the opposite. I got all the love and affection from my parents. I knew I was worthy and I knew I was loved. And as I grew up, I developed some self-esteem issues. And they were mostly around my body image. And was a little girl, I grew up and I got to puberty and kaboom, social everything hit me and I developed I can't do things. Which is funny because I look back and I'm like, I was really active. I was an athlete, and so like it doesn't make sense when I look back. But I have that confidence in what I can do. But I have no doubts that I'm lovable. It's just it doesn't translate into my action, like what I do. So I had to overcome that. And I still work on it. We all still work on those things.
For sure. It's a lifelong process, I think.
Yep.
So you, and I'm assuming this is you'll let me know, I'm assuming it's for younger kids, but you actually teach parents to use play to avoid power struggles. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways we can use play. And it depends on the age, but let's say, I'll take an example. A kid, let's say a toddler or a little preschooler doesn't want to take a bath. And every time they go to have a bath, they kick and scream and have a fight, and you have this big tantrum. And then mom gets completely triggered and starts yelling and screaming, and she's all sweaty and adrenaline pumped, and the kid's throwing down, and and nobody's having any fun. And eventually the bath happens because it has to, but everybody is totally wiped out, and you end up like falling into bed, recovering from the whole last hour of the evening, right? Nobody wants that. So we can use play, because what I look at is a child that age has no power in their life, right? They just don't have power. You're an adult. You have all the power in their life. You choose what they wear. They try to tell you, and many get the option, but basically you get to choose their clothes. You get to choose their food. You get to choose when they go anywhere. You have to put them in the car seat. They don't get to choose whether they're in their car seat or not. They get no choices. So if we can make a game out of choices, then that can help. You change the power differential, change it up. So you can say, like scoop up the kid, do a mock playful voice and say, oh, it's time for bath, but don't you run away from me. I'm going to scoop you up and take you into the bathtub, plop the kid down right next to you and say, now don't move. I'm going to run the bath and turn the bath water on. And of course the kid's going to schooly boot right out of the bath, right out of the bathroom. And you like test the water and look around. Wait a minute, where did you go? And then while the bathwater's running, you march out of the bathroom, you find your little kid, and there you are. Now, why did you run away? And you scoop him up again, and you take him back into the bathroom. Now you stay put. Now you stay right there. It's time to take a bath. And you never do what I tell you, do you? You never stay put. Stay right there. And you turn back to the bath, and you test the water while your back is turned. It's going to run out again. And you do that for as long as you need to. Like plan for 20 minutes, plan for 45 minutes. The water's going to run cold. Maybe you make this a day where you don't take a bath, because it's like, well, we can't take a bath because the water's run cold, and it's a game. But what they're going to learn is that they get an option, they get a choice, it's fun, and they're going to feel that power. They're going to feel powerful. They're going to have a sense of autonomy, and you get to play, and it's fun, and you get the power struggle out of it. And if you can turn the water off in between, maybe the water doesn't run cold. You just start over and you just do that little bit again and again and again. And parents think, oh my God, but if I do that now, we're going to be doing that every single time. And we're never going to have a bath. And it's like, it's not true. Kids, when they know that it's a game, they will be able to stop the game. Once they learn that it's a consistent thing, it's like, okay, let's play that bath time game. Okay, let's play it for 15 minutes. I'll put the timer on, and when the timer goes off, it'll be really time to take the bath. But let's play the game for 15 minutes first. And then they're like, yeah. And it's like, okay, here's the timer. Okay, ready? All right, it's time for bath. And then you do the game. And then the timer goes off. Okay, the timer went off. One more time, and then it's bath time. Okay, you stay right there. One more time. Okay, now it's really bath time. And they may have a tantrum. They may still have a tantrum because they may still need to tell you that they don't want to have a bath. But at that point, it's a little bit lighter, and you can say, I know it's really hard to do things that you don't want to do. It really sucks. I don't like doing things that I don't want to do either. But it's important to clean your body. And it's what we do. It's what we do every night before bed. So you can tell me all about it, and you can tell me all about it once you're in the bathtub too. Do you want to take your clothes off first, or do you want me to do it for you? And it just goes more smoothly. It's not always going to work perfectly like that, by the way. I make it sound like it's always going to work, but it does more often than not, right? So you can invite play into those power struggles. So another example. Do you have another question? Because I have another example.
No, that's awesome. Tell us another. Yeah, perfect. Tell us an older example.
Okay, so for older kids, um, so humor too, you have to use a little bit more nuanced judgment and track the mood of your kid because you don't want to turn this into mocking. And so be careful. But if a child constantly talks back and just says no to you before anything else, like, hey, let's go. Hey, do you want to go with me to the movies? No. Like, no, really? Really? Try to beat them to it. Like, hey, I'm about to ask you to do something with me, and I know you're going to say no. So let's race. Okay, let's just race. Do you want to come to the movies with me? No, I got it first. I got it first. Haha. And just play with it. Just play. You're making it fun, and you don't have to expect. I mean, if they're that age, then they probably don't want to go to the movies with you, and that's okay. Another thing that happens is we try to shift gears for the kids faster than they're ready to shift gears, and we want them to enter our world on our timeline, and that doesn't work. So if you've got a kid that's down on the floor playing Legos, or even worse, if they're on a screen, and I'm not judging being on a screen, I know that we do screens, but it's harder to pull away from screens because of the nature of what they are. So you got to allow more transition time. So I'll use the Legos as an example. If they're on the floor playing with Legos, you can have a kid that's really into what they're building, right? And let's say dinner time is in 10 minutes. Hey, dinner time's in 10 minutes, so in 10 minutes, come to the table. Well, they're not going to keep track of time, and they're not going to do that. You come, hey, I said 10 minutes, it's dinner time. Come on, let's go. No, I'm doing this. No, and then you have a fight. Okay, so better would be to sit down with them and go, oh my God, what are you making? Show me what you're making. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me more about it. So avoid praise. So you don't have to say good job or that's amazing, because that's evaluating. Tell me more. Wow, you're working hard. I love to see you so focused. All these things, like about how they're doing the thing, not the thing itself, right? But you're inviting yourself into their world, letting them be with you, letting you be with you're getting into their world, right? So you're matching their tempo, their speed, where they are. And after you're there with them for a little bit, you can say, like 2 or 3 minutes. You don't have to be there for half an hour. With screens, that's different again. But then, hey, I know that you're really, really into this. Can you wrap it up? Can you start wrapping it up? Because we're going to be having dinner in a few minutes, and I love what you're making. This is so cool. And I know how hard it is to move away from something that you're having a really fun time with. But it's really important that we all sit down for dinner together. So it's time to wrap it up. And I want you to start wrapping it up now, because I know it takes a while to finish it up. Can you do that? Do you want a reminder in 5 minutes and another one a minute before? Or are you good to wrap it up with yourself right now? And a lot of times they'll just put it away right then, because you've already joined them there and they're willing to come with you out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, nice. That's those are great examples, and I love just getting into their world. The idea of getting into their world, and you're making me realize. I think I've done a lot. For me, it's a history of a lot of praising, because I always felt like I was trying to make up for self-esteem that other people possibly were taking away. So, it's all about awareness, right? And it's about the awareness that you have in the moment with what you're saying and how you're saying it, and then taking the patience and the time to move into their world. But you're making me realize I've done a lot of like, good job, oh my gosh, that's amazing type of comments, which I know isn't horrible. It's not the worst thing. Right. But it really made sense to me to say it the other ways you were suggesting, and that opens it up for less evaluating and more just interaction and engagement. And maybe they want to tell you something else about it. Or whatever. So, I like that. I like that a lot. Hey, if you guys are just joining us, I have Dylan Spradlin on the show of Transform Childhood, and you can find her at dylanannspradlin.com and also on her Facebook page called Transform Childhood. So So you make a really interesting connection between the lack of free play